Charanarvinde Sandarshita Swatma Sukhavabode Nishreyase Jangli Kayamane Samsara Hala Hala Moha Shantye Abahu Purushakaram Shankachakrasi Dahinam Sahasra Shirasam Shwetam Pranamami Patanjalim. Om.
So lovely. I just wanted to sit here for the next 10 minutes. It's really a beautiful chant.
Yeah.
Thank you. So everyone, this is Harmony. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's so nice to be here.
What I'd like to do is review the Bhagavad Gita chant that we did last week. I'd like to start there. Chapter 6, verse 29. Sarva bhutastamatmanam. Do you all have that? So as we review, and Alex, you weren't here last week, so this is new, but do you have the handout or do you have a copy of this? I don't know that. Oh, you go ahead and unmute yourself. Oh, you can't hear me?
Oh. I hear you. I'll look for that one. I don't have that one.
Okay.
Do you have access to the Google Drive? It's in there.
What?
Patty said if you have access to the Google Drive, it's in there. Am I?
Is it 6.5?
Yeah, 629.
Oh, I don't think I have that.
And you weren't here either, Sandra. So we were.
No.
It was in light of the escalating of these problems with policemen killing people they shouldn't be killing, etc., and black skin and white skin and all that. I was searching for something that might help us, at least for ourselves. So I came across this verse, and so let's read out loud. I'll just read out loud some of the translations that I offer here.
Leslie, can you say which one it is again? I did find all of the documents.
Oh, okay. It's Bhagavad Gita 629. And I think the title is Bhagavad Gita 629, sameness, I think I put in it. And if you have a Winthrop Sargent book, maybe you could read from that.
Okay, I have it on my computer screen.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. So just to refresh our memory, and for those of you who are just coming in, and might not knowing what you know of the Bhagavad Gita, so the three translations that I've offered are as follows. He who is disciplined by yoga sees the self present in all beings, and all beings present in the self. He sees the same self at all times. And that's Winthrop Sargent. Then Graham Schweig says, one who sees the self present in all beings and all beings present within the self. Such a person whose self is absorbed in yoga sees the same everywhere. And then one from Eknath Eswaran. They see the self in every creature and all creation in the self. With consciousness unified through meditation, they see everything with an equal eye. So it is my hope that this will give us some comfort and some ground to stand on, as well as some direction to go on when we decide to act in response to these disturbing events. So shall I go ahead and chant it then, kind of like last week? Okay. So the protocol.
I just want to let everyone know, if you can't find it, if you look in the chat feature, if you go to the bottom of your screen and hit chat, you should be able to see, I hope, I copy and pasted the chant right there, if you can see that, if you need it.
If all else fails, challenge yourself and just learn by listening. And you don't have the burden of your eyes. You can even close your eyes and listen and just have the tongue do all the work, the tongue and the ears. Okay, so the protocol, Harmony, and for those of you who are fairly new, is I'll chant the whole verse, and then I'll chant one line 3 times. And then with you all muted, you can chant out loud with me if you like, just as you see fit. And the repetition is so that clarity comes to the understanding of every pronunciation. Okay, here goes. So I'll stay unmuted. Everybody else, please mute. I'll start with Om. Om. Sarvabhutastamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. And now line by line. Sarvabhutastamatmanam 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 Sarvabhutani Chatmani Sarvabhutani Chatmani Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha Sarvatra Samadarshanaha Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. How are we all doing? Does anybody have anything to say?
I just have a
Otherwise,
question,
we'll just- Yes.
Leslie. In the second line, Chatmani. So that T, like when I was listening, is it at the back of the teeth, the dental?
Yes. The
Okay.
T, the unmarked T, the T with no diacritical marks is always a dental. So Chatma. Chatma.
Okay.
Chatma.
Chatma.
Yes, Mr. Alex. Can you unmute yourself, please?
The third line, the last word in the third line, the T belongs with Atma.
It's Yukta Atma. Yukta Atma. So you have to join them. And so the in the end of Yukta combines with the at the beginning of Atma, and it becomes one sound. Yuktatma was originally Yukta Atma. Yukta Atma, Yukta Atma, Yukta Atma,
Yukta Atma.
Yukta Atma. And everyone, if you do not own a copy of Winthrop Sargent's Bhagavad Gita, I would highly recommend that you purchase a copy, because every single verse is given a word for word breakdown and the meaning and the role that it plays in the verse. It's really fabulous, and it helps us. Okay, so now should we just keep going with this? Is there anything else that anybody else has to say? Hello again. Okay, so we'll chant together. I'll just chant the first 2 lines and repeat the first 2 lines, and then the second 2 lines, and we'll repeat that. And then we'll do the whole verse. Om Sarva Bhutastamatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani. Again. Sarva Bhutastamatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani. One more time. Sarva Bhutastamatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani. Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. So should we do the whole verse? Om Sarva Bhutastamatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani. Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Twice more. Sarva Bhutastamatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani. Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Sarva Bhutastamatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani. Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. In some traditions, the final line gets repeated, which is kind of nice. It's like putting it in bold. Well, unmute yourselves, and would anyone like to chant this or any part of this?
I'll give it a try, Leslie.
Good.
We'll
Go
just see.
for it. I will mute myself.
All right. Sarva Bhutastamatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani. Ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadashanaha.
I thought that was beautiful. That was just lovely, Karen. And I would only say, just pay a little closer attention to the long vowels versus the short vowels. You pretty much have it. And it could have been just nerves. You know, it's like the first time you're doing this for people. And what are they thinking? It becomes more fluid when we become comfortable and when the tongue knows what comes out of the mouth next.
A little bit of a new concept for me last time was when we have two consonants next to each other and really giving them their proper time, like not going right through it, but really saying each sound, which takes just that little extra time. So that was a new concept for me that I'm trying to work on, like on yuk, tat, ma.
Yes. Yeah. And here's where our Vedic chant that Elizabeth and I have been doing it with Sonia, here's where that training comes in so well. We were trained over and over again. Those compound consonants are tricky. And there is it sound to the listener, it's a pause, but the tongue is working. There's really no pause for the tongue because it is articulating. So what Sonia might say to us is, for example, in that third line, yuktatma. We want to make sure that there's no space between yuk and ta. So it should never be yuktatma. It should not be that. There has to be an intention of expressing that compound consonant. So instead of yuktatma, it should be more something like this. Yuktatma. So it's a matter of that part of the tongue landing on the first consonant and taking off on the second consonant. And in this case, we have a k back in the throat mouth, the position 1, followed by a t forward in the dental. So we have to go yukta, yukatma. And it's that landing and taking off that gives us the pause. And if the tongue is engaged properly, I think for the chanter, there really isn't a pause at all. There's just doing all of the work that we have to do. And then the listener hears a pause a bit because there's no vowel sound in between those consonants.
Very helpful.
Okay. Would anybody else like to chant this beautiful chant? Alex, did I see a hand? Rebecca, did I see a hand? Go for it. Hi, Barbara. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so who would like to do this now? Alex? Okay, Alex, I'm going to mute myself.
Om Sarvabhutastam Atmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samardarshanaha Sarvatra Samardarshanaha.
Beautiful. Really, really nice. You've got confidence in it now, and it's flowing. Again, just take care of the focusing on the long vowels as opposed to the short ones. So let the voice resonate for those long vowels. Sarvabhutastamatmanam. Actually, let's all do this. Let's exaggerate it. Why don't you mute yourselves, but dare to exaggerate, and I will stay unmuted. I love being the leader. Such a gas. So we're gonna just exaggerate all the things we're supposed to do right. Okay, so you can hear it in me and then do it yourselves. Okay, here we go. Okay. Om Sarvabhutasthamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Let's do that again. Sarvabhutasthamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. A little thing came on my screen, totally irrelevant. New beautiful wallpapers just arrived. No, thank you. So who else would like to do this now? Was that helpful?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
I'll try it.
Okay.
Om Sarvabhutastamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. That last line wasn't right.
Why don't you just chant the whole verse again? That was amazing. You got the yuktatma perfectly. Did everybody hear that? That was great. Do it again.
Sarva Samadarshanaha. That was right? A little bit better.
Yeah. I think when it gets linked back, so try the last two lines. Just chant the last two lines together. Ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha.
I think that's one of those places, and I know everybody learns differently, but I think if I could trust more the ear, because when I look at that, just sort of my eyes just go like, it's too much. You know, I would have to, as a learner, I would have to chunk that down a little bit more. When I see that trasamara, is what it looks like to me. So I just need to practice.
So it's the writing, right? Yeah, the writing, we need the writing if we're going to learn and practice on our own, but as you're seeing, it's getting in the way.
Right, sometimes it's,
because it sounds like you were saying your tongue was ready, but your eyes were saying,
right.
wait a minute, wait a minute.
Where am I? Yeah, yeah, interesting.
Yeah. But that was great. Good. Had flow. Who else would like to chant this?
I can try chanting it.
Please do. Okay. Good harmony.
Sarvabhutastamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha.
That was lovely. I can tell that you chant a lot.
Yeah.
I would just look at the last line. That seems to be a difficult one. The rhythm, if you really go with the varna is the Sanskrit word that has to do with how we articulate the tongue. It's
Mhm.
it's getting the pronunciation, and it's really very much the varna, the pronunciation that lends to the rhythm, that really lends
Right.
itself to the rhythm. Sarvatra samadarshanaha. I remember last week we had this image of the roller coaster, and it might have been with something else we did, but there's a little bit of that here. You're going up the roller coaster on Sarvatra samadarshanaha, something like that.
And you have the like retroflex on the R the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that seems to be the rule. I don't, there's
Okay.
never a time when we don't do that.
Okay.
The
I
R
was
is
just
for
yeah.
position
Okay.
3, cerebral
Okay.
magnet.
Yeah, I was never sure if it was always like that or just sometimes.
Yeah, and in Vedic chant, they emphasize the fluttering of the tongue, but some
Yeah.
people have a hard time doing that. So it could be sarvatra, but it's hard for me to not flutter the tongue because the ta is dental and the ra
Yeah.
is cerebral. So I don't know how else to get there.
Yeah.
Sarvatra, the tra, the ra makes
Yeah.
it
Yeah, the
doable.
R's and the T's make it easier to do.
Yeah. Does anybody else find that as well? Barbara, would you like to chant this? I think I saw your hand.
Yes, I would, please. Sarvabhutastamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha.
Really nice. That was lovely, Barbara. And you got the rhythm of the last one.
I felt like I was going too fast, though. I was nervous.
Try it again. Do it again then. Okay, take it. Okay, breathe. One of my yoga teachers discovered this book on breath, and I can't remember the name of the author, but he's a journalist, and he's discovered that one of the reasons why we have sleep apnea, et cetera, and problems breathing is because we breathe through the mouth. So let's try to breathe through the nose, but then we can't always do that when we're chanting. But anyway, my point being, take an exhalation before you start, and maybe that'll help you relax.
Do you start with Om or no? Do you start with Om? Oh, Leslie's muted.
Sorry. Yes, I like to start with Om. It's not necessary, but Om gives us, traditionally, Om gives us the middle note. But I think when we chant Om, it also sort of centers us and gets us ready to chant. But it's your call. You can do it without Om. I find it centering and helpful. And then I can, figure out where I am in the melody and what pitch I want. Okay, take it away, darling.
Om Sarvabhutastamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha.
That was beautiful, so lovely. Just watch the length of the vowels, especially on the second line. Sarva bhutani chatman. Oh no, you were right. I have an old copy. That's supposed to be a long ah in chatmani, right?
I believe so.
Then you did it right. Never mind.
I think I probably could have gone longer on those, so I agree with you. I tend to do, that's a tendency of mine. So, thank you.
That was lovely. And it had a nice flow. It flowed well.
Thank you, Leslie.
Would anyone else like to chant this verse? Would you like to move on to the Shiva Panchakshari that we started last week? I was talking with Elizabeth, and well, I think we mentioned it last week. It seems like these days, the largest body of invocations is for Shiva. There seem to be more songs to Shiva than anybody else. It's interesting. That said, the Bhagavad Gita is a song of the Lord, and that's Vishnu or Krishna. So maybe it evens out in the end. Saraswati doesn't get enough, I don't think, but you know, Durga gets plenty. So, okay. So did you all get a chance to print this out, or can you see it? It's the Shiva Panchakshari. So this is from a book those of us in the Vedic chant group were required to buy. It looks like this, and it's purchasable from India. Mantravali, an anthology of sacred chants. And so I've taken it right from the book. And if you please notice, it's two-sided. And what I did was I typed out the exact same chant twice over, but on one side is the way we might see it. So take a look at just the top line underneath where it says Sanghita Pataha. And actually, you don't have to be muted, but just everyone repeat after me. Sanghita. I have no idea what you're saying because I can't hear you, but anyway. And then the other word is Pataha. Sanghita Pataha. Say that. And we don't even have to chant that, but it's a mouthful anyway. So Sanghita usually means the actual chant, the actual mantra. And Pataha means the reading or the recitation, the recitation of the Sanghita. So the actual chant here, the actual mantra is Om Namah Shiv. Om Namah Shiv. I have to go up a whole note. We learned on whole note. Om Namah Shivaya Cha. Everybody try that. Om Namah Shivaya Cha. Again. Om Namah Shivaya Cha. And one more time. Om Namah Shivaya Cha. So not including Om, we have Namaha, we have Shivaya, and we have Cha. Namah Shivaya Cha. So there are actually three words. And the Cha simply means and. They put it in here. So Panchakshari means the five syllables. Akshara is syllable. It also means imperishable. Pancha means five. So the 5-syllable mantra. So if we count it on our hands, we have, and here we have, our fingers are conveniently divided into 3 sections. So we can go and tap the thumb on the first section, say of the index fingers. This is number 1, this is number 2, and this is number 3. Then go to the next finger, number 4, number 5. So each syllable gets a tap. So Namah Shivaya. So everybody do that. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Everybody getting that? So that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what I was wanted to call your attention to was just the difference on the page. So Are you reading the side that spells Namah with an H or the S with a dash over it? You can unmute yourself so I can figure out, I know what's going on.
H.
H. Okay. Oh, damn.
H.
I was reading with the H.
I tapped something. Yeah. Now turn it over so everybody's looking at the side, at the other side. It's the exact same chant, but it's a helper. Now, in this chant book even, sometimes we'll see the way it's written with the S's there, but sometimes we won't. However, it's all the same in terms of what we chant. So the Namah Shivaya with the double sha, that is the second mouth position sha, the S with a dash over it. It's a sha, as in, so everyone do this. Say Isha.
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 Yes. And notice how when we broaden the mouth and we can say the vowel E, that places our tongue right to where we want for that sibilant sound. Sha. Sha.
Isha.
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 Now turn your paper over again. If we're not chanting it, and if we just want to know what each word is, it then is Om Namah Shivaya Cha. So everyone say that. Om Namah
Om
Namah
Namah
Shivaya Shivaya Cha. But when we chant it, there has to be what we call a sandhi. So notice on the top of so now look again at the side that has the double shas. And on the top of that page, it says with the sandhis. Sandhi is a transition or a blending. In terms of Sanskrit and grammar and chanting, sandhi is a blending of sounds together, which may in fact produce an altogether different sound. So the way we have to chant it is though we have to honor the visarga, which was the H with the dot under it. But that visarga changes to a sha. And it operates the same way as when we chant Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the understanding that there is visarga. Visarga has to be expressed, but in this case, it's expressed with a double sha. So it may sound, again, come back to, who was it that was saying, notice it sounded like a pause. Was that Rebecca? I can't remember the first person who mentioned that. Or it was Karen. So the same thing here. Namah Shivaya becomes Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. So we land on the first sha and we push off of the second sha. Namah Shivaya. Is that making any sense? Let's have each person. I have, in this order, I've got Alex first. Let's each one of us unmute once at a time and try it once. So I'll do one more time. Om Namah Shivaya. Alex, you do it.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Yes, good. And next, let's see, who do I have next on the screen? I guess it's Harmony. You next.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Yes, good. Rebecca.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Sandra. Would you kindly unmute yourself? Silence is lovely, but. Can I unmute you here? Here. Oh, no, I can't.
Okay.
Okay.
Om Namah Shivaya. No, that's terrible.
Well, then make it nice.
I don't know how. Om Namah Shivaya. That's
That was
still wrong.
nice.
No, it was wrong.
Okay, one more time.
I've lost the melody.
Okay, here we go. No, actually, you got
Om.
it. That was the melody. Om
Om
Namah
Namah Shivaya.
Shivaya. That's it. You got it. Let's see.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Yes. That sibilant is in the same mouth position for both sibilants. Barbara?
Om Nama. Oh, excuse me. Okay.
You have a case of the Leslies.
Yeah,
What I do.
it's dry today. Okay, here we go. Om Namah Shivaya.
Just get to the sh sooner. Namah Shivaya.
Yeah, I'll try it again. Namah Shivaya.
Perfect. And Elizabeth, I neglected you on where are you? There you are. Okay.
Om Namah Shivaya.
There you go. Karen?
Om Namah Shivaya.
Yes.
I kind of
Patty?
played a minor little tune there, but
No, that was pretty much it. Patty?
Om Namah Shivaya.
Yes. Yeah. Is that everyone? I don't want to neglect anyone because I have this little, that looks like a movie strip on the top, but it doesn't have everybody all at once. Okay. So I just wanted to point that out. So if you, so this is to serve you. If you want to just see how it's supposed to sound, then look to the page that says the Sundays on the top, and you have the shushas. But it should sound the same either side. It's just sometimes when we don't have the change, we might forget. But it's for your eyes to get used to both. It means exactly the same thing, and that it is chanted exactly the same way. So in Vedic chanting, there are a couple of traditional, what do I want? They call it a pedagogy, means to preserve the chant, means to enhance our memory, and a means to preserve the sanctity of the chant. And in the times when these chants were created, there was no writing and no reading. So nobody could read anything. The only means that anyone had to learn this was to sit in front of the teacher and watch the teacher's mouth and hear the teacher and reproduce every sound. And so in order to do that, a couple of conventions were developed. And one is first we have the Sanghita, the actual recitation. And then we have what's called the krama. And we talked about this last week a little bit. The krama, in chanting, krama simply means we chant the first word and then the second word. And then if there is a third word, then we will begin the next phrase with the second word, which will be the first word. and then go on with the third word, which will be the second word, which already sounds confusing to me. So just listen to krama and we'll just do it. Om Namah Shivaya. So we included Om. There's Namash or Namaha is the first word, Shivaya is the second word. And then Shivaya Cha. So that's the second word followed by the third word. So we have word number 1 followed by word number 2. And then we move on and word number 2 gets to be the first word in the phrase and then number 3. Is that making sense? Okay. So let's just chant this. Let's chant that 3 times. The krama. Here we go. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Cha. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Cha. And one last time. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Cha. Okay, so now you read it. Put your papers down and we're going to do this with the fingers. So we don't get to read, we just get to do. So just do it with me. Okay, so here we go. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Cha. So now it's each word gets a knuckle. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Cha. Is that pretty clear? Clear as mud, clear as clear water. We're going to move on to jata. So the krama is just simply one word followed by the next. That next word becomes the first word, and so on and so on. And when chants get to have more words than this, you'll understand better. But it's we start off with the simplest chant of all. So now moving to jata. So there's a
Can I ask
pattern
one
with
question, Leslie?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like when it repeats the Shivaya Cha, why doesn't it repeat the Namaha?
Because we've moved to the next part of the krama. So the
Okay.
krama, in the krama, let's just say there's just 2 words at a time. Word
Okay.
number 1 and then word number 2.
So word number 1 is Namaha, word number 2 is Shivaya.
Yes. And then the next phrase will be Shivaya becomes word number 1 and Cha becomes word number 2.
Okay. Okay. So then if there was more words, then the krama would be longer.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
true?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. So then it would
Okay.
repeat like the second word and the third word,
Yes.
and then it would repeat the third word or the second word, third word, fourth word all the way through, and then it would repeat the third word, fourth word all the way through like that if there was more
Oh.
words?
No, just the krama is just 2 words at a time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So it'd be the second word and third word like we're doing,
Yeah.
and then it would be the third word and the fourth word,
Yeah.
and then the fourth word and the fifth word like that.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
a longer Shiva chant. Let me give you an example. Om Namastaraya Namashambhave Chamayo Bhave Cham Namashankaraya Chamayaskaraya Chashivatara. Oh, I did it wrong anyway. But anyway, it goes on. But the krama for that would be Namastaraya Taraya Namaha Namah Shambhave Shambhave Cha. Do you see? So it's just
Okay, yeah.
you get
Yeah,
one,
I see.
two, and the first and
So
the
Leslie, so that was designed as a learning technique, right? So
Yes,
people get
yes.
a chance to hear just
for
a couple.
memory. It is because not having anything to read,
Right.
they devise these methods.
That's very clever.
It kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of like the hand game you play when you're a kid where you're like, and then you add on for each one. You have to remember what number you're on and how many you've added on.
Right. And then there's that in the group, when you whisper something, you don't want it to be like that where it becomes all different. So the jata comes next. So in the jata, there's another, and by the way, Elizabeth, jump in any time if you have anything to add or to correct what I'm saying. So in the
You're doing a great
jata,
job, Leslie.
beg your pardon? Oh,
You're doing a great job.
okay, thank you. It's like I never quite got it, and there are explanations in books but when I tried to write it out, it was overwhelming. So we understand it by doing it, by example. In the jata, it sounds like this. Oh, excuse me. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. So I'm just using those two words only, but the pattern is first word, second word, first word, second word. Or word number one, word number two, word number two, word number one, word number one, word number two. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Just do that with me. You can read it because notice the namah changes because of grammatical changes. But it's the same word. It's just the endings change because of sandhi. All right, here we go with the jata. Here we go. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Again. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. And then we go on because there were 3 words in this line. So Shivaya becomes the first word and Cha becomes the second word. Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Shivaya Cha. Let's just do it a couple of times. Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Shivaya Cha. Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Shivaya Cha. Cha Cha Cha. Put them together and this is what it's like. I'm going to just keep doing it and join in when you like, and get rid of the paper when you like. No, you can always just follow me. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Shivaya Cha. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Shivaya Cha. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Shivaya Cha. Elizabeth, would you please unmute yourself and chant? I'm going to take a drink.
Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Shivaya Cha.
Would anyone like to have a go? Thank you, Elizabeth.
I'll try it.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Cha-cha, Shivaya, Shivaya Cha.
Yes, that was good. You know, we we get stopped whenever there's a svara. Svara means the pitch. So whenever we get the pitch wrong, we get cut off. Do it again, Leslie. You know, it's like that. So, but I didn't want to cut you off because at least you're getting the rhythm.
Yeah.
That's the idea. But the idea is to get with the svara as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good though.
Okay,
Who
thank
would
you.
like to try? Who else would like to try? Please, Barbara, go for it.
Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Oh, you know what?
You did. That was right.
Oh, okay. I did it. Okay. Okay. But I didn't do the second line. Okay, I'll do the second line. Here we go.
No, do the whole thing from the beginning.
Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Cha-cha, Shivaya, Shivaya Cha.
You got it. And it's interesting that when you thought about it, you thought you did it wrong, but the tongue got it right. So it's very interesting, this Sanskrit learning and the chanting. The knowledge comes in us before we understand that we know it. And the knowledge, it comes to the tongue, and it's a muscle memory. So a lot of times, if you want to remember a chant, you just have to do it out loud because the tongue remembers much better than the analytical brain. That was so interesting that you thought, you know, you second guessed yourself, but you were absolutely right.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I just have to say I have to go today. So
It is,
thank you
yeah, it
so
is
much,
5.
everyone. Such a
Thank you
beautiful
so
thing.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you too. I actually really have to, I have another call I have to be on.
Okay.
So it was so wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Harmony. Thank you so much for
Okay,
joining.
thank you.
We'll
We'll see you
just-
next week.
Okay, great.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Would anyone else like to try this? Okay, Alex.
Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Cha-cha, Shivaya, Shivaya Cha.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Would anyone, I'd love to just get to the ghana before we sign off. So in the ghana, the pattern is you add the third word. And I think that's why cha was put in here, because otherwise you couldn't have done a ghana because there weren't enough words. So Namah Shivaya Cha. So in the ghana, the pattern is, I'm going to just use numbers first. 1, 2, we start off with a jata and then we add on. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. So first word, second word, second word, first word, first word, second word, third word, second word, first word, second one, third word. So, you know, so it sounds like this. So just read if you like and just see if something comes, and try to, as you hear me, and if you want to join in and try to match your fingering with the words. Okay, so Nama is here, Shiva, that's how it starts, but then it's going to change. So it's like this. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya, Cha-cha Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya Cha. Shivaya Cha-cha Shivaya, Shivaya Cha. Where are we with this? Would you like, I think, let's just listen and do. Chant with me and see if something comes. Sometimes it's the chanting more than the intellectual explaining. So here we go. Or actually, I'm going to ask Elizabeth to do this because my voice is just dying out. Elizabeth, would you please do the ghana of Namah Shivaya?
Okay. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya Cha Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Shivaya Cha.
Would you mind just do it again twice more? Okay.
Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Shivaya Cha.
I got lost in my fingers. Thank you. So that's the ghana. So the jata and the ghana are especially the ways to commit this to memory. Do you want to try to do this all together without reading? Let's just see what happens.
Can I just ask you to go over a certain part?
Yes, please.
I'm just like having a hard time going from like the high note in Shivaya, then going low and then middle and then low. It's like, I can't, it feels weird. I can't like I can't make it work.
How dare
You know
they?
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Going from like the high all the way to the low and then to the middle and then the low. I can't
Yeah,
make myself do it.
it's a great exercise. Yeah, it's like certain words that follow certain words that will dictate the swara or the pitch.
Mm.
And so let's just go slowly. Let's go slowly. Let's see what happens. Just and see what repetition does for you. Hopefully it will help. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Let's do that line again. Do only that line twice more. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya. Is it coming? Karen was nodding her head. How about you, Patty? Is it?
Super duper helpful. Patty, thank you for the question. And I'm really sorry, I have to go too, everybody. I'll see you next week.
Okay, practice this if you can, if you dare.
I will. Okay, bye.
And then the following line is the Shivaya Cha-Cha, which ends up, it really is just the last line in the ghana. If you look back at jata, it's the same as the last line in jata because there is no other third word. They're just the two words. So we just repeat that. Any other questions? Explanation,
one other
or exclamations
question.
of frustration or why are we doing this?
Support group. I was just, so what you just said was the last line in the jata and the ghana are the same, but if there were more words, would they be different? Okay.
It would be, yes, it would continue. Yeah. This is just a short one. Shall we do the entire ghana? Okay, 3 times through. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Namo Namah Shivaya Cha Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya Shivaya Cha. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya, Namo Namah Shivaya, Cha Cha Shivaya, Namo Namah Shivaya Cha. Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya, Shivaya Cha. Elizabeth, would you lead us two times? The third time and the fourth time.
Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya, Namo Namah Shivaya, Cha Cha Shivaya, Namo Namah Shivaya Cha. Shivaya Cha Cha Shivaya, Shivaya Cha.
Would anyone like to chant this on their own?
Can
For
I,
us?
I'm going to ask another question.
Ask
On
away.
on the sheets, I think the last line of the Gana is missing the third Shivaya.
Oh, there's two Shivayas. It was missing. There was, are you looking at the first
Oh, am
handout?
I
That's
looking
why
at
I
the first
revised
one?
it.
I know, I thought I had deleted the original one and then, okay, so is this the first one? I thought I deleted the first one and added the revised one in, but maybe I printed the wrong one. So if everybody else has the right thing, then that's
Well,
good.
everybody, are you reading what we're chanting? Okay, yeah.
Okay,
I can send it
never
to you
mind.
again, Patty, if you need.
Oh, I
me.
still have it. I think I just mixed it up.
Okay, yeah.
Thank
It
you.
says revised on it, but maybe the other one said revised because it was like, Elizabeth caught that last time, but I think it's correct now. What I wanted to get to was the other aspect of the email that came from Einaus was they gave us a link to a recording of the Nirvana Shaktam, or the Song of Nirvana. And I thought we might begin, I don't know, I had this idea, it's in our chant books, and perhaps once a week we could do one verse per week, if that is appealing to you. Alex, can you unmute?
So I just wanted to go back to the Panchakshari, Shiva Panchakshari.
Oh, yes.
So when we learn all of the 5 parts, then you just would chant it one part after the other, and that would be the complete round of it.
I'm not sure.
I mean, we're doing it part by part to learn it, but after you learn it, you would never just begin with the Gana. You would start with the Samhita and do all 5 continuously.
Yeah, yes, for the sake of sanity, yes. However, if you were to end up in a class with Sonia, she's, she expects us to learn these things, and then she'll surprise us and she'll say, okay, dividing the group in half. This group does the Gana, this group does the Jata, go. And we just, it's like,
okay.
But they're the Gana and the Jata are not official mantras. They are just steps to learning the mantra. And in this case, with this particular mantra, it's not so hard to learn it because there are so few words.
Okay,
so the Sanghita is the actual mantra that you want to chant.
So this is a learning device, a learning tool. It's not something that you would do in a devotional way, or you wouldn't do it like this.
Well, we kind of do. Elizabeth, can you speak to that? I mean, we do with Sonia because she has us do all kinds of things, but do you have anything to say, Elizabeth?
Well, I guess I'm more used to thinking of using the mantra, the original mantra, as opposed to the Jata and the Ganam. But we've done them in different kinds of performances.
Yeah. I think the bottom line is we learn these conventions to help us memorize a chant, because if you can just picture yourself not having any written material, not being able to read anything, there is no writing. So it was simply a learning device. However, it's a great thing to practice, and even practicing the gun and the jata, you know, it's like doing an asana practice. It helps me out of a slump, takes me out of a depression. It just gives me something to do and something to focus my mind on. So it really teaches us about all the things that yoga teaches us about dharana, focusing on something. It gives us something to devote our tapas to. So I think the recitation of ghana and jata, along with the sanghita and the krama, I think it's all healing.
Okay.
But in a ceremony, I think most people are just used to just the actual sanghita, the actual mantra itself.
Okay.
I was
Thank
just
you.
going to say, Leslie, that chanting, like the ganam is usually done at a faster speed than like krama or jata. And so it has particular energetic effects to it. And I think that's what Leslie was getting at too. If you were you needed to restore some energy, that you might want to choose to do the ganam as opposed to just doing the krama, just to kind of build up some energy for yourself.
Yeah. And that becomes more evident with other chants that are longer. I typed out one for everybody, but I was afraid to send it yet because I want everybody to welcome it rather than be afraid of it and run in the opposite direction. Well, I think it's time to end. So I'm going to chant for you the Yadakshara. And actually, if you could chant the second part, Elizabeth. And I think I handed it out at some point, and we'll all do this together. So if you have that sheet in front of you, otherwise just listen and see if you can pick up some of the words. Yadakshara pada brashtam matrahinantu yad bhavet tat sarvanksham yatan deva Narayana namostute Shrimate Narayanaya namo namaha.
Kayena vacha manasendriyarva buddhyatmanava prakrute swabhavat karomi yadyak sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samarpayami sarvam shri krishnarpanamastu.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So we've now asked the gods for our forgiveness, and we've devoted everything to Lord Narayana, hoping he welcomes our gifts rather than repels them. Thank you, Patty. Thank you always.
Leslie.
Thank you so much.
Leslie, thank you, Patty.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you,
Leslie.
Patty.
Thank you, Patty.
My pleasure.
Have a wonderful
Be
evening.
well. Until next time.